We all have expectations. We expect people to treat us in certain ways. We expect success, happiness, and recognition. We expect life to unfold as we imagine. But when reality does not match our expectations, we suffer. Why do expectations cause suffering? The answer lies in how our minds work. Our expectations are shaped by past experiences and future desires. When we experience something pleasant, we want it to continue. When we suffer, we hope to avoid it in the future. This is natural. But when we hold on to these expectations too tightly, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Imagine a person who works hard and expects a promotion. They believe their efforts should be rewarded. But if the promotion does not come, they feel frustrated. It is not the situation itself that causes suffering. It is the belief that I deserve this, or this should happen, that creates pain. Expectations make us feel entitled to a specific outcome. But life does not always follow our plans. Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from attachment. When we attach ourselves to a certain result, we resist the natural flow of life. We compare reality to the version in our minds and feel disappointed when they do not match. This happens in relationships, work, health, and even in our daily routines. A friend does not call, and we feel hurt. The weather changes, and we feel annoyed. These reactions come from expecting things to be a certain way. But what if we did not expect? What if we accepted whatever comes? This does not mean we stop making efforts or caring about our lives. It means we recognize that outcomes are not always in our control. Letting go of expectations does not mean losing hope. It means finding peace in the present moment, no matter what happens. When we start noticing our expectations, we begin to understand how they shape our emotions. The next step is learning how to see reality as it is. When we expect something, we see the world not as it is, but as we want it to be. This creates tension between reality and our desires. If we want to be free from this struggle, we must learn to see things as they truly are. Life is unpredictable. No matter how much we plan, things will not always go as expected. People change, situations change, even our own thoughts and feelings change. When we resist this truth, we suffer. But when we accept it, we open the door to peace. Imagine standing by a river. The water flows naturally, changing every moment. If we try to control the river, we will only exhaust ourselves. But if we watch the river as it is, without trying to change its course, we can appreciate its beauty. Life is the same. When we stop fighting against what is happening, we can find peace. In Buddhism, we talk about impermanence. Everything is always changing. A flower blooms, then fades. The sun rises, then sets. No moment lasts forever. When we expect things to remain the same, we deny this truth. That is why we feel pain when something does not go as planned. But if we accept change as a natural part of life, we suffer less. This does not mean we should not have goals or make efforts. It means we should not be attached to a specific outcome. A farmer plants seeds and takes care of them, but he cannot control the weather. If there is too much rain or not enough sun, the crops may not grow. If he clings to his expectation of a perfect harvest, he will suffer. But if he understands that nature follows its own course, he can adapt and move forward. Seeing reality as it is requires awareness. We must observe our minds. When we feel disappointed or frustrated, we should ask ourselves, what was I expecting? This simple question can reveal how much we are holding onto an imagined version of life. By practicing this awareness, we begin to loosen our grip on expectations. The next step is learning how to live with acceptance. Letting go of expectations is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice, a way of approaching life with openness, rather than resistance. When we stop expecting the world to be a certain way, we create space for peace and clarity. But how do we do this in our daily lives? First, we must recognize when we are holding on to expectations. Whenever we feel frustrated, disappointed, or upset, we should pause and ask ourselves, what was I expecting? Often, our suffering comes from the gap between what we wanted and what actually happened. By noticing this, we begin to loosen our attachment to outcomes. Next, we can practice shifting our focus to the present moment. Instead of worrying about the future or replaying the past, we can bring our attention to what is happening right now. Life is happening in this moment, not in the future we imagine or the past we regret. When we fully experience the present, we free ourselves from the burden of expectations. Another way to let go is to accept uncertainty. We often try to control life because uncertainty makes us feel uneasy. But the truth is, we cannot predict everything. Rather than fearing the unknown, we can approach it with curiosity. When we stop demanding that life follows our plans, we become more flexible and open to new possibilities. Relationships provide a good opportunity to practice this. Many conflicts arise because we expect people to act in certain ways. We want others to understand us, agree with us, or meet our needs. But people have their own thoughts, feelings, and struggles. If we accept them as they are, instead of trying to make them fit our expectations, our relationships become lighter and more peaceful. Another helpful practice is reminding ourselves that every situation is temporary. If something does not go as planned, we can remember that it will pass. What feels important now may not matter in a week, a month, or a year. Holding on to this perspective helps us respond to life with more ease. Letting go of expectations does not mean we stop caring. It means we stop clinging to a fixed idea of how things should be. It means allowing life to unfold naturally, without resistance. Letting go of expectations is not about giving up. It is about freeing ourselves from unnecessary suffering. When we release the need for things to be a certain way, we create space for peace, understanding, and contentment. Life is always changing. No matter how much we plan, unexpected things will happen. People will act in ways we do not expect. Situations will unfold differently than we imagined. But when we accept this truth, we stop fighting against reality. We learn to move with life instead of resisting it. This does not mean we should not have goals, dreams, or hopes. It simply means we do not become attached to a single outcome. We do our best, but we also remain open to whatever comes. In this way, we find balance, making efforts without being controlled by our expectations. As we continue on this path, we may notice that our minds become lighter. Disappointments lose their power over us. We become more patient, more flexible, and more at peace with the present moment. When we stop expecting life to follow a fixed script, we begin to see the beauty of what is actually in front of us. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Your support means a lot. If you found this message helpful, I truly appreciate your likes, comments, and subscriptions. They help me continue sharing these thoughts with you. Also, a heartfelt thank you to those who have sent super thanks. Your kindness does not go unnoticed. If you would like to share your thoughts or experiences, I would love to read them in the comments. Each person's journey is unique, and your insights may help others as well. May your path be peaceful, and may you find ease in letting go.